I'm flummoxed because you're here.
I'm also flummoxed because you're here.
Yeah. Oh well. And talk to me about Chick Flick. I mean, what a fun film.
I hope you got the opportunity to watch it.
I did.
You know, it's meant to be an amusing and frequently acerbic critique of online dating and social media culture and the trials of navigating today's digital world. I mean, the pressures of online fame and the perils of going viral, which I'm familiar with, and the constant quest for an authentic connection. I think in a world dominated by likes and shares and trying to establish what's authentic versus what's not authentic. You know, it's a staggering number, but I looked it up for these interviews. But in 2022 alone, there were a staggering 57 million online dating users in the United States alone. And so that's what makes this movie relatable and I suppose relevant. I get the question a lot, did you ever do any online dating? And I say, well, no, but I've been on plenty of bad dates.
We should do a film just about bad dates. But I'll tell you, this film, does have a core in sensibility, and it's a universal theme, as you were saying. But beyond that, it is a very touching film in places.
You know, I'm really glad that you say that because as much as I want people to, laugh and feel that Clara's story is both hilarious and relatable at the end, with each movie that I direct, and this is just the second one, same thing with Me, You Madness. I always was inspired by John Hughes films and by those 80s films that always wrap everything up with a very pretty bow and a warm and uplifting denouement that leaves the viewer with a sense of hope and excitement and I suppose warmth and reassurance of the human spirit. And yeah, that's sort of why as with Me, Madness, that character started off pretty terrible. By the end, she learns a lot and becomes a better person. And I suppose the same is true of Claire in this film.
Yeah, Claire is a very deep character, and learning about herself as she goes on, which I think is just a brilliant script.
Thank you. I think we can all relate to bitter heartbreak. I mean, we've all had it at some point in our lives. And, if you imagine wanting to marry the love of your life and you're on the altar and he says, I slept with your sister, it's sort of that literal record screech moment where everything in your existence halts.
Yeah.
And everything that you think is real in your life suddenly isn't real anymore, and then she loses her job and everything just starts to spiral and go out of control. What I really wanted to do was make Claire's journey feel like a journey that the audience can jump on board because of her constant narrative voiceover about what she's going through.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the film kind of funny, but also I want audiences to go, oh my God, I so know how she feels right now. Or I remember going through that with this ex or that ex, and then she loses her job, and then she loses her best friend, and then she loses everything. And then eventually, as a fully grown adult, has to move back in with her parents. Just so horrifying. And I suppose it's the wreckage of a human that and really hitting rock bottom that can help them sort of see how to start rebuilding. And well, I hope she does that in a very funny way.
this doesn't fall too far from, our journeys too, because, every one of us, thinks we're at the top, and then all of a sudden the floor is pulled out and you have to start over again. But starting over again means rebuilding yourself and understanding, a wise person will change themselves a little bit and say, well, okay, now I have a chance. And you take that as a positive, not a negative.
Yeah. I mean, speaking from personal experience, I've gone through plenty of personal challenges, professional challenges, And only with the passage of time can one sort of look back and say, wow, if that hadn't happened, then perhaps I may not have made this lateral move or that sort of vertical move in my life. And I'm glad that I did that. So that really is part of what makes this movie so relatable to every person out there. But I also want them to take away that this is a funny film and it's designed for laughs. And we titled it Chick Flick because we wanted it to be really on the nose. We want audiences to know exactly what they're walking into. And the film is very self-aware, and it's a chick flick for everybody, but that's what it is. I mean, there's a lot of boy bashing going on in this film. But yeah, so that's why we titled it that, so that
Well,
everyone knows.
You've allowed us to step into the chick's world for a little bit too. As a guy, I'm going, well, yeah, I can understand this now.
Yeah, and particularly in today's world where so their gender is so non-binary, and there are there's the entire LGBTQ plus community. I want this to be relatable to absolutely everyone. I've had guy friends watch this and say, God, yeah, I just got devastated when that guy dumped me, or when that girl dumped me, and I completely understand. And it's the fun and games portion of the movie when she goes out for revenge that's which is the really fun part.
Me You Madness was such a fun movie, and I love the way that you take on a character. Do you hear music in your characters? Are there rhythms and cadences that apply to you?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. Most of Me You Madness I wrote to music,
Hmm.
and I fought tooth and nail in the end to make sure that the songs that I'd written it to ended up in the film. Um, and the same is true with chick flick. Music really motivates me, and um, Me Madness had a very 80s thumping soundtrack because it was an homage to
Mhm.
80s cinema. This film is much more sort of present day, and we used Kim Petras, and she just won a Grammy, and she's an incredible advocate for the LGBTQ community, and she's also just an awesome singer.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to have two of her incredible songs in this film. And then we went with a selection of other smaller, lesser known bands such as Scavenger Hunt, where I felt that as I was listening to these songs, I felt that they were so on point for different points of Claire's emotional journey.
The music in this film is just underscores everything brilliantly. And you're an incredible filmmaker. I have to tell you that you're
Kind.
one of my heroes because of all the adversity you faced, especially when you go raise your hand and you go, I'm going to make a film, and everybody jumps on you and says, you can't do this, you can't do that. And you held your head and you just plowed through, and you gave us some brilliant moments on film in that movie, but in chick flick as well. You are so honest in your writing, and that's what's both funny and touching, is the fact that this comes from a place of love.
It really does, and I love making movies. It's everything I ever dreamt of as a child. So to be able to actually do it as a grown up is incredibly satisfying, and to do it with my best friend and business partner who's sitting back there,
Yeah.
Kristen, and with the other girls that work here. And it's nothing against the guys. We actually had a team of 8 before COVID, and but now we are an all-female company. Not really on purpose, just the way it kind of felt, the way it fell together.
It's
Uh,
easier.
but thank you for that compliment. I take a lot of inspiration from the books that I read that are either biographies or autobiographies about different directors. And I most recently finished Gary Marshall's book, and right now I'm reading Ron Howard's book. And you realize the number of challenges that those directors that I admire so much and look up to, the challenges that they faced during their careers, and you say, wow, it didn't all just snap into place for them either. I mean, you have to fight. You really, really do. And so with each new challenge, challenge accepted. You know, let's make movies. It's making movies. It's just putting out one fire after another.
Well, it truly is, and it's that's why I'm bald, is because I keep pulling my hair out.
I can see
When I produce film.
that.
I'm sending you my headshot, by the way, for the next movie.
Oh,
I want to do a scene with you someday.
I am such a nepotist. I put all my friends in all my movies.
Oh, good for you. Otherwise, nobody would work if there was a.
Actually, a few of the actors that we shot in Milwaukee with were not trained actors, and many of the scenes, especially some of the funnier ones, were just pure improv. And um, God, it's really great fun when you can just throw a scenario at an untrained actor and say, "Go." You know, this
Yeah.
is a scenario. We're on a horrible date. It's horrible. Go. And then, you know, watching these guys sort of fumble and try and figure out how to act horribly. I mean, in some of the bloopers, we have one of the actors that plays the art collector.
Mm.
His name is Noah Awulo. He says, "God, you're trying to make me look like such an hole." He's such a nice person in real life, but he found it really challenging playing someone that was a complete jerk.
Well, that's acting,
That's
uh,
acting.
but as we close this, I think this film is going to resonate really well with a lot of people. And as you said, it's universal, and it doesn't matter if you're gay or if you're straight or from the moon. Everybody goes through these heartbreaks, and I've left bad dates going, what, why, what?
I had a friend over the other night who had been on a wonderful brunch date all day, and then he came over here. He said something just went completely wrong at the end, and I can't figure out what it was. So we FaceTimed the guy, and he let it go to voicemail. And then we FaceTimed him again, and he immediately dismissed the call. I said, "You know what, my friend, I think it might have been the last date." So you see this stuff all the time. And he was
Wow.
pretty heartbroken over it.
Hey, don't ghost me on social media. I adore you. Thank you so much for your time. You're really one of my favorite people, and I
Thank you.
love the fact that you've overcome all of these obstacles to be this incredible powerhouse in this industry.
Thank you very much. Well, I don't know if I would call myself that, but I'm climbing the mountain. Let's say that I might be near the bottom of the slopes, but I've got a place to go, and I'm going to keep directing. And I hope that my films bring a lot of joy and laughter into a lot of people's households.
As my mom would say, don't stop. You're in the right business. Just keep going.
Yes, exactly.
Louise, as I said, I adore you. I couldn't wait to talk to you.
Thank you. You're always one of my favorite people to talk to too. So maybe we should chat more often when I'm not promoting a movie.
Well, I would love to sit with you for like a half an hour on Zoom and just talk about life
Yeah. Where are you located again? Remind me.
I'm in Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's far. So we can't meet up for a coffee then.
Well, I'm in LA. I was just in LA this weekend.
Well, let us know next time you're in LA and come by for a coffee. Let's meet in person
I would
finally.
love that. I was hanging with Margot Robbie and the group with Barbie this weekend.
Okay, I've only watched that movie 27 times.
Yeah, well, Greta, I kept pitching Greta Gerwig weird movie plots because she said she needed a film. So we ended up with Frankenstein's monsters solving crimes. I think that would be
I like that. That's a real hash up
yeah,
genre.
I know you could steal it.
No, never. Greta, are you kidding? Worship the
Oh,
ground.
it was my idea. I pitched to her. She just kind of stared at me.
Well, I'm really happy for them that they've had such a smash, and I'm a big fan of the film.
Well, I will reach out to you on either Insta or whatever we call that other thing.
Yeah, the
And we'll
thing.
get together.
Maybe we can hook up on Bumble.
Okay, whatever that is.
I'm not actually on Bumble, don't worry.
Is that something I have to swipe left for or something?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know which way you swipe these days, honestly. It's so beyond me.
I swipe up and nothing ever works. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go because you got probably press people waiting and going nuts for you.
No, I wouldn't say that, but it's a joy to speak to you for sure.
And you better come out to Salt Lake at least once, and
Maybe for Sundance next year. Although this isn't exactly a Sundance movie.
no, there's nothing in the pipe anymore. So chick flick
Well, we've got other films that I think will be Sundance
chick
stuff.
flick might win an Oscar. You never know.
It would be a moonshot.
I know, but I'll vote for you. You keep
Thanks
keep
so
healthy,
much.
stay in touch, and like I said, I'll drop you a thank you in a little bit.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Louise, and you too. And
Okay.
bye back there.
Bye. Thank you.
She's actually signing autographs for you, isn't she? That's your autograph.
No, we have a stamp for that. No, just kidding. She's actually the brains of the entire operation. I couldn't do it without her.
Well, I think you're the brains. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Christine. Bye-bye.